What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the 1796 Sports Podcast. Joined by Jim, your trusty boy Ryan. Tennessee basketball. Don't really know what to say right now. I mean, I do know what to say, but it's not going to be very happy. Um, Jim, do we suck?
Let's answer this the responsible adult way. Tennessee doesn't suck. Now, do they have games where they look like a high school basketball team? Absolutely. Including the game we just played against Kentucky. I mean, listen, we out-rebounded them. We had 20 more shots than them. You outplayed Kentucky. You really did. But let me see. Am I reading this correct, Ryan? 11 for 45 from three?
Yes, that's not a typo.
Oh, it's not a typo. Okay. But Rick Barnes doesn't have the ball sack to tell his team to stop shooting threes and drive to the basket. Kentucky's worst trait as a basketball team was letting people get to the basket. And you said, Hail Mary, shoot 53s. We're going to win. I mean, Rick Barnes, great coach. He's probably the best in Tennessee history at this point with what he's done. But, how do you not adjust that? How do you not tell your guys, stop shooting threes, drive to the basket, get fouled?
His post-game comments, Rick Barnes did say that, and Mark Pope said it too. I mean, they were giving us every three, and Mark Pope said the same thing, that they were letting us shoot threes. And Rick Barnes even said, the reason they were shooting all those damn threes near the end was Kentucky was packing it in. And we're just not good enough to hit the threes in the last, 2 games at least. So, I don't know. Because, when I first read that Mark Pope comment where he said, we let people shoot who we wanted to be shooting, I kind of get it. Because, what happened. It worked. But how many times is a team going to go 8 of 33 on uncontested shots? That's insane. So it's easy to say they should have drove to the basket, but if Kentucky was determined to not let us and they were like, whatever, shoot the threes, it worked out for them.
Yeah. And Zakai Ziegler, he doesn't normally go 1 for 11 from 3. So if you think about it, if he hits 2 more of his threes, Tennessee wins the game. He went 1 for 11 from 3. Igor actually went 4 for 8. That's a good thing to see for Tennessee because that's something that could open up, the offense if anyone else could hit. But Chaz Lanier, 3 for 10. Jordan Gainey, 2 for 8. Dubar, 1 for 7. Where's the Dubar from last year, bro? If Dubar was open last year, he was hitting all his shots. He scored 27 against Duke last year, and I feel like he's just literally throwing bricks out there. So, I don't blame Mark Pope, honestly. You see a team that's struggling from the 3 at the beginning of the game, and they're just hoisting them up and taking those shots. Let them. Yeah. Until they start hitting them, let them.
We never did.
And another thing, sorry to interrupt, but our home crowd sucks. Our home crowd is the worst home crowd, at least in the SEC. I get it. Big arena, cool, a lot of people there. But people on the baseline sitting on their hands. So, the team needs you to get loud and you just on your hands. You pay all that money for those tickets and you don't do anything.
I saw so many tweets, man, of people saying that they tried to stand up and make noise and people were telling them to sit down. It's like, come on. But we can talk about that all night.
You tell me to sit down kneeling. Tell me to sit down kneeling.
That's the thing. Nobody would do that in Neyland Stadium.
No. I stand up the whole game. You've seen it. I stand up the whole entire game, unless it's a timeout. That's the only time I sit down.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about the crowd. It feels like we talk about it
Danny
every
White's got to do
time.
something. I mean, you got to do something.
I don't know. I don't know. But getting back to the game, um, but besides the bad shooting, I mean that's the easy thing to point to. Um, the only way Kentucky could win that game was hit the amount of threes that they did at the efficiency that they shot them. They hit
Yep.
50%. Um, not your normal Tennessee defense. Uh, leaving guys wide open. We did not leave guys wide open in Auburn for the most part, and Kentucky's a good enough team to hit wide open shots. Uh, I think that bit us bad too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Tennessee seems like a team this year where if Tennessee's at its best, they should win. I mean, you played Auburn at your best. You had to play a defensive game that game, and you should have won. They had a last second three. They're the home team. That home crowd's an actual home crowd, and it willed their team to win. I mean, it is what it is. But Tennessee, I mean, at their best, they could play anybody. But if you have a game like that where you're literally throwing bricks every single time down the court, you're not going to beat anybody. I mean, anybody in the top 25 at least, you're just not going to.
Like you said, it's hard to beat anybody, much less a good team. It doesn't matter where it's being played if you're shooting that poorly from three. Overall is even crazier. 25 of 72. Like we went 14 of 27 on 2-point shots, which isn't terrible, but like still, I don't know like how you fix it the three-point shooting wise. Besides just these guys have to start hitting shots. I mean, only the things that I would say is, and I said it in the group chat during the game, Jim, like they need to work inside out. I mean, that's what good 3-point shooting teams want to do is get to the paint and then kick out. And
Yeah.
Tennessee's whole action is just around the perimeter, around the perimeter, around the perimeter, and there's rarely ever a paint touch. I mean, yes, the shots are what
you got a baller down there. Okpara could hold his own.
Yeah, and he hasn't really gotten the chance to, have his back to the basket and try to score a whole bunch. But just because it's an open shot doesn't mean it's the best shot that you can get. Rick Barnes also said this in his post game comments, just for the simple reason that if you come up, you have a wide open shot within the first 10 seconds, you probably don't have a good chance getting an offensive rebound because the team isn't set yet. He said that's a simple reason to not take the first open look, especially when we're shooting this bad.
Yeah, and we're talking about a Florida team who's playing really good. And last time we played them, again, we're talking about the same Tennessee team we saw against Kentucky. Again, we went 4 for 29 from three, 12 for 56 in the field goal. I mean, you're literally beating nobody with that. And again, I know defense wins championships, but you're gonna have to score over 43 points to beat somebody, and especially a team like Florida. I mean, they got three guys who could just flat out score. And if you play defense like you did against Kentucky the other day, good luck. I mean, it's just not gonna work. Even if you're the home team, we had 3 home games in a row against 3 good teams, and you have to win these 2. I mean, then you got to go on the road. So you got to take care of business. You just have to. And thank God Zakai's healthy. If Zakai was done, this team was done.
Yeah, and that it leads to this. I mean, the best stretch of the game for Tennessee was when Zakai got hurt, and I'm not trying to say that Zakai is the reason that we're playing bad, but it seems like that was the only point in the game where Tennessee played with any type of energy because they were like, "Oh shit, we don't have the guy we rely on. We better turn it up a notch."
Yep.
I don't understand why they can't do that all the time. Because we ended the half on a run to be ahead at halftime, and then Ziegler's back. We'll be fine now. It seems like they relaxed a whole lot to start that second half, and then we were down the whole time, the rest of the game.
Again, Jordan Gainey, like you had one good game against Illinois on the road. Where's that been? Like Jordan Gainey, you've done it against a really good Illinois team. Illinois is good this year, and you've been average, but where's that takeover? Like take over. You don't have to rely on Zakai. Yeah, he's the floor general, but when he's off the floor, Jordan Gainey has the ability to take over, and it is what it is at that point. But someone's going to have to step up against Florida. So,
you mentioned Igor, great game. He's about the only guy I don't have a complaint with. Him and Okpara, really. I knew Igor would break his slump at some point. He went, I think it was 4 of 6 from 3, 4 of 8 from 3, 6 of 10 overall. Had 19 points. He was far and away Tennessee's best player on Tuesday night. But if you would have told me he scored 19, I would say Tennessee won by 10 points minimum. But then everybody else just crapped their pants too. And you mentioned Gainey. He did it against Illinois. Chaz did it against Baylor and Louisville. Like, we've seen them do it. The only guy we haven't seen really do it besides the Texas game is Dubar. And I think he's still adjusting to, just SEC speed. He's not the most athletic guy. And I think he's still making that adjustment. And neither is Chaz and Igor, but they're at least further up the road than Dubar seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for Tennessee to win. I mean, a strong defensive showing would be great. Obviously, to maybe shoot 30% from 3, something better than, like, what was it? I think it was like
24%.
That's being generous, to be honest. It feels like, but like, and I'm not asking Chaz. Chaz has been playing well. I mean, for the most part, you're going to have off days. I mean, I was a shooter in high school. You have off days. You can't hit every single game, but we rely on him like we relied on Dalton Connect. I mean, he has to, get that 14, 15 points a game for Tennessee to compete. I mean, because other than that, you don't really have another guy that could score other than like Jordan Gainey to step up. Meshack's not a guy you're going to get a 20-point game from. Igor, you might get a unicorn game where he just goes off, but Igor's not going to score 20 consistently. Zakai, he's not going to score 20 consistently. You need Chaz Lanier to step up here, and you do need a guy like Dubar to hit a couple threes. If we're asking for him to hit 2 threes, that shouldn't be a lot. So,
no.
I mean, but Rick Barnes needs, like you said, get the ball inside. Let Okpara try and do something. Get him in the post. Because if he starts working and they got to help out down there, boom, kick it out. But, I mean, Rick Barnes gets paid a lot of money to do this. He's done it forever, and he's a great coach. Hall of Fame college coach. You're going to have to figure something out. And look what Florida did to you last time. You lost by 30. And I understand it was on the road, but you lost by 30. So,
yeah. I don't know if losing by 30 is just because they were on the road, because that's a pretty substantial margin. They're going to have to bring a, substantially better effort than they did in Gainesville to even compete with Florida. And, I'll go ahead and throw this out there because I've been thinking it all day today, all day yesterday. Do we miss Santi and Josiah right now in this scenario?
Their leadership.
Yeah.
I would say the leadership. I wouldn't say necessarily their game, but I mean, Triple J, he could take over a game. I mean, he could. Santi, same thing. I mean, if he was, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, he was putting up enough shots to say he could take over a game. But defensively, both of them were studs all the time. And, Triple J, of course, he would, have the off night and not score, but he was always defensively there for the team. He was always a vocal leader on the team. And that's the one thing I think we're missing this year. I feel like Zakai is the guy. Zakai's the leader, and that's all they really depend on. You need a guy like Meshack and even a Gainey to be a vocal leader, and I just don't know if Tennessee has that this year, and that's what scares me for March. I mean, you need leaders in March, more than one, and I just don't see us having that.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about it like not just the leadership, even just they did all the little things too, like diving after loose balls, playing defense, doing things that don't show up in the box score too. And I'm not saying that we'd have a better record with them. Even I'm just saying that in this scenario where you've lost 3 of the last 4 now, 2 of them are heartbreakers. One of them, really, all 3 were heartbreakers. The last one is just one that is really hard to swallow. But there needs to be a come to Jesus meeting if there hasn't already been one on this team, like within the players, like a players only meeting, because they have to figure this out sooner rather than later. And I don't think the meeting should be like, hey, we just got to make shots. I think it should be like, what are we not doing that's getting us beat?
Kind of like how football teams do it. You have to have a leader that steps up, or a couple leaders that step up. I mean, you do have guys that have the potential to be a leader in there, but Zakai's the one. Zakai should be sitting this team down. No Rick Barnes, no coaches in there, and be like, guys, we got to wake up. Got to wake up, because it's okay. Tennessee's going to make the tournament. They're going to make the tournament, and they could play anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But there has to be a point of a turnaround, or someone taking over. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Ziegler. It could be a Chaz Lanier. It could be a Darren Stone Dubar. It doesn't have to be a starter, but someone has to put the foot on the pedal and take this team somewhere, because this team really doesn't look like it don't look like an elite 8 team to me. Maybe not even a Sweet 16 team to me. It's just, and that's fine. You're not going to have a great team every year. Look at Kansas. Kansas isn't the Kansas they normally are. It's fine. But so you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something.
Yeah. I mean, I've said it after these poor shooting performances before. I said it after Florida. I said it after the Auburn game with Bryce on Sunday night. Mathematically, you would expect the shooting to get better. Like, that's just math. But I still think there's a lot of little things that have plagued them in these last 3 losses that goes beyond shooting. It ties into effort and all these things. And I know it's kind of a redneck thing to say they're not giving effort when they lose. It's kind of a cop out, but sometimes it doesn't look like it. Like that did not look like a team that had just lost on the road to the number 1 team and is playing their hated rival at home with the way they played in the first half and throughout most of the second half. Just didn't look like it. And they need to figure out why. There are some good things, though. We're still top 10 in KenPom. We're still in the trapezoid of excellence. If you are aware of that, Jim, it's also analytics. So, like you said before we started, it's nice to be talking about a team like this when they're 17-4 still. But
we're complaining about it.
I mean, it's worth complaining about. Like,
well, the 3 losses are worth complaining about. Like, you shouldn't have lost to Vanderbilt. You shouldn't have lost. And you shouldn't have lost to Kentucky. I mean, you were better than that Kentucky team, and they had one of their guys missing. Lamont Butler wasn't even playing, and you still lost with 20 more shots on them. That's sad, bro. That's so sad. And I'm more mad about this Kentucky loss than I am the Vanderbilt loss, because I understand you have a road loss to a Vanderbilt team who's not bad this year, but again, you just can't have these slip ups. I hope it's them getting it out of their system now and being fine in March, but March is coming quick, very quick. You got a month and you're there, so they're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I really think it just comes down to checking the effort level and getting the ball in the paint on offense. We all know the defense is going to be there, at least on most nights. It was kind of iffy on Tuesday night, but it's going to be there for the most part. What's your gut feeling of how this game goes down Saturday morning? 11 a.m. Central Time start, noon local time start, which is kind of nuts.
Well, it's Checker Neyland.
Checker TBA at FCC.
Checker Neyland, just to hopefully get the kneeling crowd in there where, light a fire under this team. I think the crowd needs to show up, which I don't think they will, because it's so sad listening to that place on TV. When you watch every other place, you could hear people yelling negative things at players and stuff. It's like crazy, but Tennessee could beat them. I mean, Tennessee could beat anybody. They really can. But again, I'm going what we did last against Auburn. I think I'm going against Tennessee here. I think Florida's playing really well. They have 3 elite scorers. And the way they've been playing defense, other than the Auburn game, is not good enough. And Florida's not going to come in and just roll over. I mean, they beat you by 30.
Yeah.
They know they could smoke you. And they know you can't shoot as well as you did last year. You don't have a Dalton Connect that could drop 30. So I think Florida is going to win this game. And I don't think it's going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a 30-point game. Because, I mean, this is kind of a little revenge factor on Tennessee. But, again, the way they've been playing kind of soft. And I think Florida wins, I'd say, probably, I'm going to say 71 to 63. Florida wins.
It seems likely. That seems like the scenario that would go down if this team is, if they're truly what most people are accusing them of right now, which is, slightly above average. I will say if there was a game where they do get it together, they have the fire under them, they have the energy that they were supposed to have Tuesday night, you would hope it would be this one. It's just hard to predict a win after what we just saw. It's really hard.
It's hard to predict a win anytime with this team, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, in SEC play, we've been brought down to earth pretty quickly, 4-4, and that's not to say that we were a fraud or anything. It's just I really think what it comes down to right now is they're in a horrendous slump, and it may not be a slump. That's my biggest concern. Is it's not a slump; it's just who they are. I'm choosing to believe that's not who they are, just for my well-being, my
you gotta pump a little sunshine, pump a little. Nothing crazy. You're just at the gas pump. You're putting in $2 of sunshine.
I just need a little bit, just to get me down the road.
Hey, and they could turn the momentum around. If you win this game, you could turn the momentum around. You could go on a little winning streak. They could do it. It's just they got to win these home games because, I mean, it's crazy to say, but other than Tennessee, I feel like this road game for Florida, I don't think is going to be that hard for them. It's just the way Tennessee fans have been showing up is kind of crazy. You would never say that against a Florida team coming into Neyland, ever.
No. I mean, but it should be the same energy. This is This is a top 5 Florida team. It's a better.
You got a top
team.
10 Tennessee team, and probably not after this week, but you got a top 10 Tennessee team, and your fans are showing up like that. Come on now, come on.
I think that they'll stay in the top 10 if they come out on top.
Yeah. If you beat Florida, Tennessee will probably be number 9, at least 10, and it'll be fine. I mean, Kentucky's a top 20 team, top 15 team, and that's fine. But if you beat Florida, you stay in the top 10 for sure, I think.
Yeah. As far as the prediction goes for Saturday morning, early afternoon, I'm going to say the Vols pull it out in some manner. I think,
Ugly game kind of thing.
which is what we should have. That should have been the game plan against Kentucky. That was the other problem. We let them dictate how the game went.
Yeah.
But we need to dictate how the game goes. We need to have the energy early. And like I said, I'm choosing to believe that they're not a bunch of baby back bitches, and they'll respond after getting embarrassed, after looking like a JV team shooting the ball. I'm
I
choosing
mean,
to believe Zakai isn't going to go one of whatever ungodly amount of shots he took.
1 for 11 from 3.
I'm choosing to believe Igor has another good game. I'm choosing to believe that, Chaz gets back to what we saw him do in non-conference play. And I think that's a big reason of his struggles too, is he's getting defended better. It's just the nature of the league. But I'm going to say the Vols pull it out. We're going to score – the Vols are going to score 73. They're going to score the same amount of points. It's going to look a lot better. And the Florida's going to score 69. I think it'll come down to big plays down the stretch. I think it might even come down to simply free throw shooting. If you look at the box score, we missed 5 free throws and we lost by 5. So, like I said, it's not just the shooting; it's the little things. I think if we get back to doing the little things well, I think Tennessee gets back on track.
So I'm looking at the ESPN match predictor. Would you believe that they have Tennessee as 69% chance to win?
Yeah, just because of the home and away thing, but it's kind of crazy it's that much in favor after what happened in Gainesville.
Yeah, and it's not showing me the spread, but I'm assuming Tennessee is going to be a 5-point favorite at home. Probably. I'm not a betting specialist, but I'd be taking Florida plus the points.
And this was the key to Tennessee's success last year, is you fading the Vols. So you need to get back to doing that.
True. I mean, I've been letting them down. I haven't been betting on Tennessee to lose, so I might go Florida money line here. We might have to bring out the secret weapon. That's on me. Everyone listening, that's on me. I've been struggling on the FanDuel side here. So Florida money line. Everyone needs to hammer Florida money line. Hey, you're talking about betting against Patrick Mahomes. You pick Patrick Mahomes to win. The only way to stop the Chiefs is to take Vegas's money. And you know what? The only way to stop the Gators from coming in and beating Tennessee is everyone putting money on Florida freaking money line. That's it. Because you know what? You're going to win plus your money because they're going to be plus 105 or plus whatever. Hey, if they're plus 200, throw 2,000 on it. What's Vegas going to do? What's Vegas going to do? They're going to make the call. They're going to make the call and say, hey, Florida, sorry to do this to you, but you got Jim over here. He put 2,000 on Florida. You guys got to lose. They ain't giving me $2,000. They ain't giving it.
We're going to make the line go down.
Personally. Hey, what's that guy's name on Twitter? Bo. I know you probably don't listen to this. But do us all a favor. I know you got it. I know you got the money. Listen, look at me. Look at you. 2,000 on Florida to win. Take one for the team. You make that in a week. You'll be fine. I think you're fine. That's just me.
I have $23 in my DraftKings account.
Hammer Florida. Hammer Florida. Leave 3 in there. Put 20 on it, though. Leave $3 in there.
I will pay $20 for a Tennessee win anytime.
Better yet, 20 on Florida money line. Put $3 on Chaz Lanier under his points. That's hey.
Galaxy brain.
I'm telling you, he'll drop 25. He'll drop 25. He won't miss. You know what? Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Chaz Lanier lower. I'm going to take Zakai Ziegler lower. And Jordan Gainey lower. And it's going to be fine. And I'm putting all the Florida guys as upper. I'm picking more on them.
We've cracked the code, buddy.
Yes, we did. You're welcome, everyone listening. I'm going to go broke just so we win one game.
Before we get off here tonight, 10 games left in conference play. Just off the top of your head, what's Tennessee's record in the last 10 games?
Hold on, I'm looking at the schedule here. Again, I'm hanging it on the Lavore, whatever you want to call it. Tennessee loses against Florida, 4-5. Beats Missouri, 5-5. Beats Oklahoma, 6-5. They go to Rupp. They beat Kentucky. They get their revenge, 7-5. They beat Vandy at home, 8-5. They struggle at A&M, 8-6. Beat LSU, 9-6. They beat Bama at home, 10-6. I'm gonna give. Ole Miss has been playing all right, but I'm gonna say Tennessee wins, 11-6, 12-6. I think we finished 12-6. I think there's a good little snaky poo for Tennessee to do that, but
So
they're gonna have to hit some shots.
8-2 over the last 10.
Yeah, but that's with some little upsets like beating Kentucky on the road, beating a good Missouri team coming to town, and beating Oklahoma on the road, beating Alabama at home. You're lucky you got Bama at home. But Bama struggled the past couple times they've come to TBA. So
I think Rick Barnes he's won just one of the last 5 games against Kentucky and Knoxville, but he's traded those wins against Kentucky for wins against Alabama. He's done well against Alabama the last 3 or 4 years.
Here's the thing: Tennessee just needs to play defense and hit 4 more shots. They beat Kentucky at home. So, I mean, like I said, you shoot 20 more shots and beat them in every statistical category, and you still lose. A little bit embarrassing.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be some drastic change to how Tennessee plays. It's just like you said. I mean, they're going to play defense. And if they just hit a few more shots a freaking game, they'll be okay. Like, if they go 8-2 in your scenario, they're still in line for a 1 seed, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. You finish 8-2. Tennessee's at least a 2 seed.
Yeah,
at least.
And even if you go, what I think they'll go is like 7-3 at most, 5-5 at worst. Between 5 and 7, you're still going to get a 3 or 4 probably,
which is fine depending on your bracket. But
yeah, it's all going to come down to the draw for this team. Just if nothing changes, it's going to come down to the draw. For
realistically, I think 6-4 is the floor, and it's going to be the toss-up games like Bama, Kentucky. Let me look at the Ole Miss on the road, and A&M on the road. You can win those games. But if they could win Saturday, I mean, that could be a nice little snowball going down the hill. Yeah. Because that's a good momentum. You're versing a top 5 Florida team. If you're going to this game, screw everybody else. Get on your feet, make some noise, get these boys going, because a top 5 win's huge going into the next game against a top 20 Missouri team. 2 wins right there. I think you get a nice little 3-win streak right there if you go to Oklahoma going into Kentucky. I mean, dude, they're literally the next 1, 2, 3.
7 of the last 10 are against ranked teams.
And all SEC teams. SEC is the best conference in basketball. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. An SEC team is going to win the national championship this year. I hate to tell everybody.
Unless they're all just are dead tired from playing in this league.
Gauntlet. Literally a gauntlet. The SEC is a gauntlet. And I wouldn't, for Florida, you come in and lose Saturday, you can't even be mad about it. You're playing so many good teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I tried to keep in mind the last 2 days is part of the reason I didn't want to record right after the game. Like
I didn't
it
want
was
to record because I was just gonna bash everybody, but
it would have been even bleaker, but
Bleeker.
more bleak. By the way, it's pronounced Louvre, just so you know.
Liverpool.
But what I was saying, like we're 500 in an incredible league. I think only one of the losses is really unacceptable, which was the last one. Um, it was unacceptable to get blown out at Florida. It's not unacceptable to lose, but how quick do we change our opinions after losing by 2 at Auburn? I mean, me and Bryce talked about it. Like the concerning thing coming out of that game was the offense, and that was it. You went to winning that game that night would have been as impressive as making an Elite Eight, in my opinion. Like that is a hornet's nest, and you lost by 2, and then we're gonna say they're round of 32 or first round exit 3 days after because they lost a tough game at home where they couldn't throw anything into the basket. So it's just a very volatile sport. Things change on a dime, and I'm not out on this team by any means. Expectations have been tempered for sure, but I'm not out on this team.
Me either. It's always emotional after and during a game like that where they're just struggling. But I think Tennessee's going to be just fine. Again, I'm not going to tell you they're going to win the national championship this year because I just don't think it's happening. They can, they could, but you need everything to be perfect. And don't sleep on this team. They're in a slump. I feel like every time, like Igor has a good game, Chaz has a bad game. Chaz has a good game, Igor has a bad game. Sakai has a good game, Jordan Gainey can't hit a shot. Then if this whole team was going 30-40% shooting, I mean, no one's beating them. But they just haven't had that this year. They just haven't had it.
No. Like the biggest thing to me is I think one, I don't think this team is going to shoot that bad the rest of the year. They might end up being a bad shooting team. I'll go ahead and say they'll end up being a below average shooting team, but they're not. Teams don't go whatever, like some ridiculous numbers, like 15 of like 60 something against Auburn and Kentucky from 3.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen the rest of the year. Like it's not going to be that bad. Still might be bad, but it's not going to be that bad. There's going to be games where Tennessee's going to hit everything. There's going to be another game 2, 3, 4 that they're going to have poor shooting night. It's just, I've said it tonight plenty of times, doing the little things that Tennessee normally does that gets them a win despite being a bad shooting team. Simple as that. So,
what about the Lady Vols though?
Man, they fight. They fight and fight and fight. They're never out of a game just because of the style they play.
They're so close, dude. They're so close.
Yeah. And I will say they better win this next game. Like, there will be valid concerns for the rest of the season if they can't beat Missouri at home. But
I don't know. Missouri's beating Texas right now, so
great.
Missouri's beating Texas 32-26 with 3 left. 32-28, whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, like I don't like it's hard to be mad at the Lady Vols, you know. I know a lot of people are just because it's frustrating to watch them lose close game after close game. But
bro, South Carolina has 10 McDonald's All-Americans on their team.
Yeah,
and you just lost by 7. So, and you were in the game the whole game pretty much, other than their little run in the third quarter. But I mean, give Kim some time. She's got 3 McDonald's All-Americans coming onto the team next year.
yep.
So it's all up from there. I mean, and also you got, the 5-star that was visiting Tennessee against Kentucky, which hopefully he comes and plays, but who knows? I feel like Rick Barnes can't land any big-time recruits other than, what is it, Phillips? Phillips was the 5-star that we got, but
Last 5-star me and Bryce mentioned it Sunday night, was Julian Phillips in 22 and 23. And then before that was Kennedy Chandler. And then we had the year with Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer. Then I think before that it was Josiah. And that's the only 5 stars he's ever gotten here.
Maybe the guy, maybe what's his name, Amont. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I messed it up, but maybe he could be the next Kevin Durant. Who knows?
That'd be nice.
That'd be real nice. But
anything else tonight, man?
No, I hope Tennessee could pull this off because I feel like this is kind of like the Florida game 2 years ago with Joe Milton at the helm. This could be a big momentum turn. I mean, top 5 team coming into your house. It could keep you in the top 10. It could get your momentum going. You got 10 games left. And just you could turn the season around here. But I feel like if you lose this, it's kind of like a downhill trend. I mean, we'll see. But I think Tennessee will be just fine.
Yeah. I mean, even if they were to lose, 7 of the last 10, they'd still get like a mid seed probably. So it's just
we're not going to talk about into existence here.
Yeah, that would be a slog to get through the last 10 games.
I'd be like Kentucky fans during football season talking about baseball season. So which is 2 weeks away. So we're about to talk about a lot about baseball here very shortly.
And especially if we go 3-7 over our last 10.
If we lose the next 3 out of 4, I'm done watching Tennessee basketball this year.
Hey, you got to pick and choose your battles just for the sake of your mental health,
Right. Right.
Anything else tonight, man?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I said, Tennessee will be just fine.
I agree. Go Vols, buddy.
Go Vols, man.